Hi, hello, and finally, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to each other's soulmate. We have been gone for some time. And if you, yeah, just a little bit. If you follow us on any other social media platform, I did just post a video a couple weeks ago kind of explaining why we've been gone. But if you don't, basically, life, like we say, always kind of things get in the way with the podcast. It's life. A lot of changes. I got a new job, new work schedule, all this fun stuff. So we've just been trying to figure out, and equipment. So we've been trying to figure out equipment.
Yeah, I got
That's
a
been
completely new setup, y'all. I'm no longer streaming from my tablet. I now have a whole system, so hopefully I'm gonna sound a
you
lot better.
you having a microphone is like my Christmas.
Yeah, it really
I
is amazing, honestly.
I'm
Oh
very
my
excited. We're both very excited to get this going again with everything that we could try with all the trials and errors. I love that we do this though. It's literally just her and I figuring this stuff out as we go, and it's been such a blast. Yesterday I was realizing that we're almost going to get to a year in a few short couple of months since we've started this, and
wow,
it's crazy. Yeah,
that's
I know.
crazy.
Yeah, we took a little break, longer than I would have liked, but again, that's life. We're ready to get back into the
Yeah.
groove and get back into this. I don't think I didn't release that in that little clip I said, but we're changing the schedule to every 2 weeks now for an episode instead of weekly. Or did I say that? I don't remember. Anyway, we're gonna probably do an episode every 2 weeks. I feel like that's just better with our
Yeah,
schedules and everything,
because
you know?
we love recording, we love putting out the
Yeah.
content, but setting the time aside is,
Sometimes gets
it's a whole
difficult.
thing.
Yeah,
So
sometimes get just
to
yeah.
maintain consistency, we think it'd be better to do every other
Correct.
week.
Correct. That may change. Like I said, we've changed things constantly throughout the past couple of months, to figure out what works for us. And we couldn't thank you guys enough for your patience and consideration and understanding. Again, like I said in the video, I'm always thankful for the people who checked in on us too. So many people were like, what's been going on? and we're just kind of like, we're just busy with life, but we're trying to get back into it's funny, it's like I want to say like get back into the studio. There is no studio, this is our house,
Mhm.
but this is our studio right now when we do this. But yeah, we're very, very, very happy to be back. I'm very excited. New things we want to try and implement too. I think we're going to wait to talk about that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a couple things where we got up our sleeves that we want to incorporate, and we're both very excited for that. Even though her and I are barely wearing sleeves today,
I was like, yes, they're up this sleeve right here.
up our sleeves. But yeah, so I'm so happy to be doing this again and talking about our show. So yes, we
Me
are
too.
back, and again, we are each other's soulmates.
We
We
are.
are a Sex in the City broadcast.
We
We
are.
are two broads talking about our four favorite broads in New York City. So we are back, and we are back with season 2, episode 15. Finally getting towards the end of season 2 here. We have this episode and then 16, 17, and 18, and then we'll finally be done with season 2.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's going to be jam packed in these next couple of episodes. So let's just
Get ready.
we'll get ready, basically. If you're following along with the show,
Yeah.
if you've seen it before, you know what's going to be going on. This is it's a very fun couple of next episodes, actually.
It
So
is.
we're really excited. But yeah, with that, let's get into season 2, episode 15, Shortcomings.
Yeah. Can I just add one last thing to our intro?
Sure.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. Oh
Happy
yeah. It's
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's
It
Day.
is
Happy
Valentine's Day
Valentine's
as we're
Day.
recording this. I thought it'd be fun to add this thing. So recently, okay, how in different generations they like if somebody's gonna show you a heart with their hands, they do them differently. Well, I learned a new one recently. I thought it'd be fun to like talk about on here. So this
Yeah.
is the like OG one
This
that
is a
I did
OG.
growing up. This is like the new one that I've seen kind of popping up more
Gen
so
Zers.
recently. I recently learned this one.
Oh yeah, how do you
This
do
is
it?
also a heart now.
Here you go.
Yeah. I thought that was neat and just something cute to talk about. And if any of you guys know any other way to use these two hands, these meaty
To
claws, to make a heart,
symbolize love.
yeah, let us know. Anyways, that was
Yeah.
it. And now onto our episode.
Hell yeah.
So, this episode is called Shortcomings. It's a really fun episode, honestly. For Miranda and Charlotte specifically, out of the entire series, in my opinion, they have their best looks in this episode. For my as far as my favorites go.
I agree.
But this episode really surrounds the idea of family dynamics and how they intermingle with romantic relationship dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
We see Miranda, who, she dates a man who's divorced with a child. And, dating with children is something to be talked about for sure.
Yeah.
Carrie develops a very beautiful relationship with the mother of the man that she is dating.
Feel that.
You know, um, yeah, we're gonna get into that. Charlotte's brother, Wesley, is getting a divorce from his wife, Leslie, and is staying with his sister Charlotte in the city while he is
Mhm.
figuring that out. And Samantha gets stung because she accidentally walks into a wasp nest. So we're gonna see how that plays out. Poor girl, right? Okay. So let's get into it. We start this episode off with Miranda meeting a man in an elevator. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like elevators are just like in the right
Elevators
context,
are inherently sexy.
they are. They really are.
Elevators are inherently sexy. The last time I had a great encounter in an elevator, fantastic, amazing. That elevator also spawned randomly. It was on the Riverwalk. We just found an elevator.
I love when that happens.
And just went up there. I don't know. We don't know where it went. We're like, we're gonna go on. We're gonna go on there.
I
What
love
if
that.
yeah. I was probably a little drunk.
That's okay.
But no, yeah, elevators are inherently sexy.
They are. I've read way too many spicy novels that completely took, or not novels, but short stories that completely took place in an elevator.
I've always wanted to like fire alarm it and get stuck in there with someone.
If you fire alarm it, don't people show up?
Emergency stop.
Oh.
Yeah.
I figured that would like get the fire department called and shit.
Yeah, but like we can like turn it back on and then like go out, just speed out of there.
Well,
it's called a quickie for a reason.
That's true. It's an emergency. So in this point though, we have Miranda who meets a man on an elevator with his son. So it's not sexy this time, but
nope.
So we see Miranda expressing her frustration while she's at the gym. Yeah, let me set the scene. So Miranda's at her gym and it's kids hour and she fucking hates kids hour. You have the kids running around like messing with things. She's like there with some weights and a kid starts tickling her while she's like lifting weights. That is so dangerous.
Note this is so TV because no kid would ever be allowed on a gym floor like that because of safety.
Also, it was the 90s. You remember the 90s.
No, my dad used to take me to the gym and they'd put you in a separate room with all the kids because you can't be out on the floor with your parent because it's a safety hazard.
Yeah. Well,
this is coming from the daughter of a buff dad. I was in a Bailey's since I was a kid.
Just like So we have Miranda. She's on the elevator and she goes to reach to press the button, to go down to the floor she needs. And the man just is like, don't touch that. Don't touch that. And she's like, the fuck? And he doesn't offer any explanation. She asks if something's wrong with the elevator, and he's like, no, nothing's wrong with it. My son just enjoys pressing the buttons. And she's like frustrated, but she's like, she plays along. She lets the kid press them, and then the kid presses all of the buttons. So she's gonna be there for a while.
Way to
And
go, Junior.
I know, I think his name is Simon. But
Simon.
while they're going through all the floors of the elevator, he's flirting with her. He's definitely kind of like putting the moves on her. He tells
Mm-hmm.
his kid like, "Oh, Miranda, that sounds like a princess name, huh?" Just he's being cute. I like it.
Yeah.
And while they're chatting, at one point his son tells him to shut up or stop talking. He tells him stop talking and threatens to bite him at one point. And the kid's just acting out, and the guy whose name is Roger, he literally tells Miranda, "I'm in violation of every parenting book ever written."
Mm-hmm.
I would have run at that point. That would have been my cue to leave. But yeah, no,
What? Why?
cause I'm like, bro, control your child. Jesus Christ. Like
Well,
it's
he was trying,
I
but like
know. But
unconventionally.
no, but he literally said like he's guilty because he's going through a divorce.
That's what I was saying. It's
Yeah.
the guilt of, oh, my kid's going through a divorce. I'm going to give him whatever he wants and let him do it. I mean, that's natural.
I know, but I really hate when people forget the fact that you're not raising a baby, you're raising a future person. And
100%.
it's
I
like
also don't have children myself, so I also can't come
that's
from a
true.
place
That's true.
of like, you know what?
Yeah,
Not there yet. If I'm ever there, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do either.
that's true. But I would have seen that comment as a red flag personally.
I would have whooped
Um,
that kid's ass.
I wouldn't have done that, but
That's a
okay.
white child. That's a white child.
That is a
No
white ass child, yeah.
when if I told my parents stop talking,
Or I'm gonna bite you.
murder.
Murder on the dance floor, literally.
Like, no, that's insanity.
No,
Never.
seriously. And it's the like feeling like I don't know. Anyways, Roger asks Miranda out. And the next scene we have is the four broads talking about it at brunch. And Miranda's like really going over how I don't like the fact that he feels used.
That's disgusting.
And like, if we could pause and like break that down for a second, I feel like that can apply to men and women who have like, started a family with somebody and then figured out it wasn't right. So then they start to date again and
We
do this.
were talking about this also regionally because where we're located, it's very normal for people and this is, we have to remember, the girls are like their mid 30s, right now they're like
Right now,
33,
they're
34.
probably like between 32 and 34 at the
Right.
very beginning of
So
the
we're
show.
talking early 30s right now. Where we're at in life, it is not uncommon in the slightest for people that you date to either be married previously or have children from
Honestly,
previous marriages and relationships.
even at our age, and we're just
That's
like,
what that's what
oh,
I'm
sorry.
saying is
Yeah,
that we're even younger, and to me that's not a foreign thought. Like when I was dating previously, I understood that, and especially now that I'm getting older, most of the time these people are probably going to come with children or come with
yeah.
divorces, and it's not something that it's it's not off limits for me. But for Miranda, for this to be her first time dealing in the dating world with someone who's previously divorced with one child, I I I almost wonder if it's a regional thing, because I'm like, down here, God, everyone has like 4 kids already, and I was
No,
like, this isn't
seriously.
And
It's
I was like, this is the
definitely
first time this is happening to you. This is shocking behavior that a man in his 30s has a child and is divorced. Like,
yeah.
it's a little weird. And it's a little, the whole use thing is gross.
That's
The
gross, yeah.
rhetoric, the rhetoric is disgusting. Like, that is, then it's like, then don't date him.
Yeah.
For
If
you to describe your potential partner as used, like, no.
no, I don't like that either.
Oh,
Yeah, she even compares it to feeling like it's like chewing someone else's gum. I feel like this is
so
like
stupid.
barely covered slut shaming too. I don't know.
It
It
is.
feels like slut shaming. It feels like the same kind of language you would use to slut shame, but it's like
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes,
And
it's very derogatory. And it's kind of like, I'm sorry, have you not been fucking this entire time?
yeah, seriously. And then
Sorry
anyway,
you didn't put a label on any of these things. You just never threw a marriage license at this. Like, it's so presumptuous. It's
yeah, it's
so,
very
ugh.
judgmental and just like
It's
gross
very
energy.
judgmental. It's like,
Samantha,
how hard is it? But like, my thing is just be like, I don't want to date someone who has kids.
yeah, same. I'm personally like that. I didn't want to date anyone who had kids when I was still dating, and so I didn't.
Yeah.
If I found out that they had kids, I would be like, well, I'm sorry, but like, I'd move on and stuff. And but it's don't do it if you don't want to.
Right. If it matters that much to you, don't even go there. I, on the other hand, would welcome any children that were like bonuses,
Yeah,
to
bonus
the family.
babies.
Bonus babies. Like, I don't have any children of my own. It would never deter me that if whoever I was interested in had children or a previous divorce. Like, it's just, I think like what I said, culturally or maybe regionally, it's so ingrained. I was like, who would ever get mad? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But this is Miranda we're talking about. This is our cynic.
Yeah,
So,
she's our judgmental girl.
yeah.
But Samantha makes a joke and she says that you should just round them all up the divorced men, round them all up and keep them in a pound. That way you can get their whole history before you take one home, like the little paper.
Not the worst, not the worst
You know,
idea.
but
Just for anyone. For
what's kind of
anyone.
funny though is that I'm pretty sure there are like apps that do this now.
Yes.
Yeah, where like
Like,
girls like tell each other about the guys that they are dating or gonna date or something. And
oh,
like
yeah.
tell each other about, you know,
They have dating apps now where men are only allowed on the app if you've been vetted by a woman.
there you go.
There's stuff like that now. So,
Yeah, so it's like, she's kind of commenting on that before it happened.
she's
Um,
always been ahead of her time.
she has. And then we have Charlotte chiming in, and she says, just because a man is getting divorced doesn't mean he has a problem. True.
100%.
And she goes on to say that her brother Leslie is getting a divorce from his wife Leslie. And the ladies, honestly, mostly Samantha and Miranda, but also Carrie, begin teasing her about the absurdity of their names. Like
It's cute.
do you know anybody who are married and their names rhyme?
Oh,
Like
I did. I did. I had a couple. I had a couple of patients. It was two patients. They were a couple and they were like they had the same name. But it's like one of those like those names that like Randy and Randy. You know what I mean? It's
oh,
like
cute.
one of those kind of things and I was like that's just adorable.
I love that.
So, yeah.
But next scene, we meet Carrie's guy, and the way they transition this scene, she's like, rather than shop through the half off bin, I was dating somebody brand new. I'm like, you shut up.
What a gross rhetoric.
You
But again,
shut
this is the
up.
90s.
This is the 90s.
This
So
is the
they
90s.
met at a writer's function. So this guy's also a writer. He is a short
Mhm.
story fiction writer, which is pretty cool. Like, I think this is the first time in the series we've seen Carrie with another writer, um,
Yes.
which is pretty cool. you know. And they're on their way to the movies right now, but he says like, I need to stop by my parents' house real quick, you know, I need to drop this off. And when they get there, he insists on going inside even though she's like not dressed to meet family. And he's like, if I don't go inside, I'm gonna get in trouble. You look fine, let's go. So they go inside and they meet the Weissel family. And we meet his mother, and her name is Wallace. I have
Love that.
never heard of a woman named Wallace, and now I'm obsessed. And we also meet Vaughn's. Vaughn is the name of the guy that she's dating. We
Who
meet
is Justin Trudeau?
Trudeau,
Justin
yeah.
Trudeau is who's playing
So
Vaughn.
if you've ever seen Parks and Recreation, he was that I can't remember his name, but he was the friend of Anne's that she didn't want Leslie dating, and she ends up dating him. And then he was also, which you pointed out in Charlie's Angels.
Seamus and Charlie's Angels is one
Yeah,
of my favorite movies
I
of
know.
all time.
Yeah. So we've seen this guy a couple times before. And we meet his family in this episode. And the two parents are both professors. And they're both actually completely aware of who Carrie is. Like as soon as Wallace
So
figures
cool.
out who she is, she's like, "Hey, she's the writer of that column we love." And they're like, "You're an icon. Like, oh my god, you're like in our house." Like they're like appreciating her for what she does in her art and all of this. They're just like enthralled with her, and she's enthralled with them back.
I
And
would love for that to happen to me.
no, for real. Like everybody's so nice to her.
Imagine.
They invite Carrie to
Yeah.
have food with them, and she like happily skips the movie to do so. She's like, in the span of 5 minutes within walking in this house, his mom gave me the next week's column idea, which was revirginization, when women stitch their vaginas so that it's tighter usually after birth. We have his father invited her to speak at the Columbia, the university.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you know, and then they literally had an entire restaurant's like fish counter bar at the house. Like, you know,
That
and
is
also
networking
it
at
is.
its
And
finest.
I think he knew what he was doing. I think he knew that his family's gold, and he was like, "No, come on, like let's go here really
I
quick."
think his family dynamic is so comforting. He didn't even think that it would be an issue.
You
He
don't think?
obviously has a very welcome. I don't think he did it intentionally. He
No.
realized he has such a welcoming family. He's like, "Oh, this isn't a big deal. Like my family's going to appreciate anyone who walks in the store."
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of figured he did it on purpose. Like he was like, but
To show off.
yeah, I guess some people just are that. I don't know.
I think it's how casual the family dynamic is. That's just me.
Okay, probably.
Cuz you don't want I wouldn't just bring over anyone to my family like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me either. Yeah. But
No, you got to it could take some time.
yeah. But next scene, we have speaking of taking time, right? We have Miranda and Roger, and they're on a date at the park, and they have the kid with them. And in my opinion, this scene is where Miranda looks best in the entire series. Her
That
hair,
is
her makeup, her outfit, everything.
fantastic.
Fantastic. On point.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. We love it. And something that I caught, and I caught it by accident on TikTok. Um
Oh yeah.
uh this is, okay. And let me take a step back. Miranda, when she's talking about how this guy feels like chewed gum, she also mentions that she doesn't even wear vintage clothing or go antiquing. This is the one time we ever see her in something vintage. I'm pretty sure I read that or I saw that it was Chanel.
Hmm.
It was a vintage Chanel piece, but it's so pretty. You got to see it. And they're walking around the Central Park together while the kid's like running around doing his own thing. And they have really solid chemistry. Like they're laughing a
Hmm.
lot. They're very much like just flowing, where you
Right.
don't have to work at it. It's just happening. And out of nowhere, bam! Miranda gets smacked in the head with a gigantic stick from the kid. He
Oh my God.
yeah, no, he smacked the back of her head. She literally just goes like, ow! Like, really just,
Yeah.
yeah. And the dad turns around. He's like, are you going to apologize? And the kid runs away. No.
This is where you take the stick and whack them also on the
Beat his
head.
ass. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, be like, hey, you like the way that feels?
Don't beat his ass, but I definitely would.
Beat his ass.
But this is what I mean. You need
we're in a society of
we're in a society. Your kids need to know that it's not okay to hit people, and if you do hit somebody, you have to apologize. This is what
by whooping their ass. Also,
this is what I fucking mean when I say don't raise children, raise like future adults. You know, you don't make a kid apologize because like it's just a kid. You make somebody who's gonna be a functioning member of fucking society one day apologize because they need to learn that's how the fucking world works. You know, this kid's gonna be fucking like 27 and hit his girlfriend with a giant stick and not gonna apologize. Watch, it's gonna happen.
Which is why his ass should have gotten beat when he was 7.
Exactly. Somebody should have. Anyways. I'm just kidding.
Just say
I don't think you should ever beat a kid. I was beat as a kid. I don't like beating kids. It doesn't. Like,
I'm not talking about abuse.
Kid like that.
I'm not talking about. Obviously, I'm not talking about child abuse. I'm talking about spanking your kid or being like, "Listen here, like you need to."
The listen here.
Yeah, or you gotta spank them. You gotta grab them and be like, "You need to come here and listen." Like yeah. This is not a game. This is not a game I am willing to play. I am calling Santa. If you don't listen,
I'm gonna get this motherfucker on the phone.
I'm getting Santa on speed dial, and you're screwed.
You're screwed. All your presents, poof,
gone.
Rudolph
ate them. You're done.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, yeah, Miranda just lets it go, and he says that she comments on how hard it must be to date as a single father, which, you know, you're kind of seeing how hard it is right here.
Right.
And he says the truth is that he never really had a good social life, even before fatherhood. He prefers marriage. He prefers, you know, stability and routine and knowing that someone's at home waiting for him.
God, he's like a fucking wet dream.
No, for real. And that's what Miranda says. She's like, you are literally the heterosexual holy grail. Like, that is the man.
It is a dime a dozen
that women are looking for.
Yes, like, it is a dime a dozen.
You know, yeah, it's, yeah. And it is. And she really begins to wonder how a vintage man would look on her modern couch. And then as she's having that thought, his son comes over and he's like, here. And he puts a frog in her hands.
That's not so bad.
A live frog. And right afterwards, he's like, well, I guess this isn't the best time, but you want to have dinner sometime?
Yeah, we're getting frog legs.
Frog. Oh my God, that'd be so much fun. And yeah, so they're going on another date. It's going well. And next scene, we have Charlotte, who just baked her brother Wesley some muffins to make him feel better.
What a wasp.
For real. What does that stand for again? A wasp?
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Okay, yeah, so they're wasps for sure. And he tells her the muffins are great, but he wants a dry martini. And like, where's your vodka?
I am dying for one right now. That sounds incredible. I just got cheese truffle stuffed olives that need to be in a martini right now. You don't like olives either?
Girl, you know I don't like olives.
I know you don't like pickles.
I don't like olives.
You don't like olives? I didn't know about the olives thing.
They make me uncomfortable.
All kinds?
Well, okay. I like
black, Kalamata, and green?
Yes. The only time I will like, okay, Puerto Rican food is the only exception. That is the only exception.
And the rice?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the beans. And all the other stuff. That is the only exception. But yeah, fuck olives. They can honestly burn in a hole.
I love
Um,
olives.
but yeah, no, he wants
Yeah,
to
dry
he's like,
martini.
fuck the muffin, give me some vodka. And she's like, I don't have any. And he's like, I thought you were a wasp. Um, and
The thing I do like about Charlotte is she isn't a big, not like I like it, but like she's not a big drinker. She drinks out with the girls, but that's really it. But like yeah, she's not a big drinker. Sometimes you'll see the girls at their own places drinking.
yeah,
You never really see Charlotte with a glass of wine or a martini in her house.
that's true.
Yeah.
Huh. But yeah, no, he tells her that oh no, she tries to push the muffin again and she's like, "But muffin like this is like Nana used to make it and it used to always make you feel better." And he's like, "That was pre-Leslie. Now post Leslie, I need a cocktail." And
It's like
mind
I'm going through a
you,
divorce, bitch.
no, for real. And then mind you, so we did the episode a while back, um, about therapy, right? You
Yeah.
remember, Charlotte literally said that she comes from a family that believes that all head problems can be cured with physical exercise. So of
Someone just
course
made
she
a
wants
joke
to drink.
about that too, but they were doing it in Hispanic culture. They're like, "Oh, Mexican families don't believe in depression." They're like, "I can't sana away my depression." And I was like, "Damn,
No,
that's a good one."
it is a good one. But uh oh, and then Charlotte goes back to talking about Leslie. And she's just like really honing in. She's like, I don't understand why you two can't work it out. You had the most beautiful wedding. And he's just
Does
like, we're
that
gonna
matter?
have an even lovelier divorce. And she's like, you're giving up too easily. Relationships take work, and you need patience and you need
This is
understanding.
coming from someone who's never been married, also.
That's exactly what he tells her. He said, when was your last long term relationship?
It's hard.
We have yet to see her in one in this whole show so
Yeah,
far.
and not even a long-term relationship. Like a marriage is different, a
Oh,
marriage is now and yeah, now it is a completely extra, not only financial, emotional, like it's a bigger
everything.
commitment, you
You
know.
literally merge yourself with somebody. And
Yeah.
you can do that when you're in a relationship. Like, you totally can. But when you get paperwork involved and your taxes and the
I
government,
think this is why marriage has gone down and I think it's, uh people don't care for it anymore and they're always like, oh, it's a piece of paper, it's a piece of paper, and I'm like, no, it's a what it is more commitment. And I think that in this non-commitment based society, that's why marriage is dwindling, because it's a commitment to multiple aspects in a life. And I don't think people want to mess with it, or they do it for benefits,
yeah,
you know.
definitely heard of that being
Yeah,
as a reason.
which
I
makes me
also think
sad
that
because no one's wanted to marry me for my benefits.
I also think that there's a decline because it's not necessary in the same way that it used to be. Um,
Right.
societally as well, which I appreciate. I think that that's a good thing. I don't know. I don't think people should be married unless they actually want to be, not because they feel like they have to be.
100%.
But the thing that I really want to like hone in on this conversation between her and her brother is when two people are within a relationship, those are the two people within the relationship. And I'm only talking
Hmm.
about monogamous people. I'm not talking about polyamory. I don't understand those rules. Um, but when two people are involved, they have a relationship between the two of them that is just between the two of them. People
Right.
from the outside can say whatever they want because they only have certain perspectives of what it actually is.
Hmm.
And I think it's such a shitty thing to do, to try to feel like you know better about someone's relationship than they do. Obviously, abuse is one thing, and that's not what I'm
Hmm.
referring to here. What I'm talking about is Wesley is consistently telling Charlotte that his marriage is over. He's getting divorced, and she keeps on clinging on to what it was. And I feel like that's such a hindrance to his ability to grow and move on from this. And I
Yeah,
feel
because
like,
everyone's gonna have their
yeah,
opinion.
exactly. But like, it's just really, it's a big thing
Yeah, when
in
it
this.
comes down to it, you're like, this is about me and this person, and I'm gonna make this decision,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. And you
or
should,
we are gonna make this decision as a couple.
exactly.
So
So I do think she's definitely speaking out of turn. She should not be talking to him like this about
I
this.
think she's just being a concerned sister,
She
you know,
is, and I
and
think that that's definitely also the part of her that always believes in love, which we love her
100%.
for. But
Yeah.
you also know when to give. You also have to
Yeah.
know when to give.
Yeah.
But next scene, we have Carrie and Vaughn at Carrie's apartment.
About to
And
find out why this episode's called Shortcomings.
exactly. So they're so infatuated with each other. They're like making out hard. They don't even close the front door.
Love
It is
that.
on so bad. And they're going at it, and it's like they have this really playful music going like dun 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 dun, dun. And it's like
Hmm.
really fun. They're ripping each other's clothes off and stuff. And after having spent the day together with his family, the sexual tension had just like built up to
Yeah.
the point where they're like, give me your, like, rip it off. Come here.
Yep.
You know? And they are so close. They're spicing up. It's going.
Okay. All right.
He nuts in his pants.
With no contact.
None. And then the music's over. Party's over. There is
Silence.
only silence. And she's just kind of like,
Shocked.
yeah, she doesn't know what to do. I guess that's never happened to her before.
I
You
don't think
know?
that's ever happened to me. I
It's
don't think that's ever happened. Huh? It's happened to you before?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. You know, I can't remember. I'm getting older. I got a lot of stories. I'm starting to. I'm starting to be like, did this happen? Did it? I have to go go back to like the old files. But
But yeah, no, it's just like shh.
poor fucker, dude.
You know,
That sucks.
and the next day, or yeah, the next day, I'm assuming, we have Carrie, Samantha, Miranda, just the three, and they're having brunch again. And Samantha's like, get rid of him. but, but everybody else is like, no, 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 no. Like, maybe he has
Give him
a
a
reason. Give
chance.
him a chance. And Samantha's like,
Yeah, you can't
no.
go off of the first. I mean, you can't, but we'll see.
So but Samantha puts her foot down, and they even say Samantha is like the general pattern of sex, and she doesn't like sending her troops into battle if she thinks they'll lose, you know?
I
And
feel that on such a personal level in the sense of like security. And I'm like, if I don't think I'm going to blow this guy's mind, that ain't going to happen. I'm not here for it.
oh, like you,
It's,
I got
yeah.
you. Yeah. Well, the way that she says it here, Samantha doesn't like sending her troops into battle if she thinks they'll
Mm-hmm.
lose. Isn't that exactly what Carrie did to Miranda and Skipper?
Yes. We talked about how shitty that was and how continually shitty that was.
Yeah.
That would have saved, like, it's almost like she intentionally
It's
knew
almost
Skipper was going to get brokenhearted.
it's almost like she has a column about relationships. Wants to see how they play out.
I don't think she did it for the column. I think she did it because she's a bitch.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know. But okay, so Carrie kind of brings it back in. She's like, I like him, but the thing I like best about him is his family.
Girl, have I been there?
Have you? I was gonna say I've never been there. So like my husband, I love his family. His family is so good to me, but I love my husband more. Like I just, I love him. My ex, his family was awful. They like one of my exes, like yeah, like they treated me like so bad. I just
Bold.
yeah.
Shots fired.
Actually, you know what? Can we delete that part?
No.
Bitch, bitch, I want that part deleted.
all the time. You can throw a dagger also. We're real. We're 100% real on this
Okay,
bitch.
girl. Okay, yeah, no, they weren't nice to me. They were not nice
Yeah,
to me.
we can be
Um,
honest.
yeah,
We can
yeah.
be honest.
I'm like having trauma flooding through my eyes. You can see
I've had either
you
or.
see
I've had
tears up here.
families like that are incredible, incredible families, and I've had not so incredible families, and I'm
Yeah,
like, oh my god, it's like crazy.
so bad. But yeah, I've never been in a situation where the family was the one that I was there for. And Samantha, she's like, "Was there anyone there you can fuck?"
I've definitely had it to where I would like to maintain a relationship with the person's mother. I'm like, I never want you to leave my life. Please don't
Please
ever
don't,
leave
mom.
me.
I'm my mother
I
now.
hope you never will. Your son can go sit and spin. However, I want you. You're my friend.
Oh my gosh. But Miranda's like, isn't the family supposed to be the obstacle and not the attraction?
That's such a God. What a fucking cynical bitch. Like it's like,
Okay, but I hear what she's saying. Like,
well,
typically
yeah.
that's the issue, like, and yeah, it's pretty negative, but and then we have Samantha. She's like, I fucked a guy once because his family had a pool. She's like, I'd go
Love.
over there and get all cocoa buttered up. His mom would serve me Kool-Aid and chips. And she's like, I was 13. I'm like,
Hell yeah,
girl,
bitch. Hell
girl,
yeah. For a pool
a
in the
pool.
summer, having a readily available pool, godsend. We live in
Yeah,
the South.
yeah,
And I
um,
think Samantha did too. Or she's like Midwesterny because she
yeah.
always talks about her little backstory every now and then. And she's like, well, I worked at a Tasty Freeze. I'm like, that is not New York
What?
City.
Dairy Queen, right?
She said Tasty Freeze.
Did she? I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was Dairy Queen. And then she also says that when she got her new apartment in the meatpacking district, she was like, I have at this age, my mom was saddled with like kids
Mm.
and a drunk husband. So her
Yeah.
dad was a drunk, her mom was a sole provider, and she had siblings.
Yeah. We don't hear much about her backstory, but I can only assume that she's like either out in the country somewhere in New York or like I don't
And
know. I have a feeling Samantha's kind of no, maybe not from the South. I think she's like Midwestern.
yeah, I was gonna say Midwestern,
You know?
probably. She doesn't
Yeah.
she doesn't give Southern to me. Not like
No,
Claria.
her friend in the later episode is very
Claria.
Southern. I'm thinking of Clarion.
Yeah. But next scene we have Carrie back at home with her laptop working on the column, and she's saying that, in my mind, the complications of making a relationship work had just expanded exponentially. When you date somebody, how many people become emotionally involved? When you sleep with somebody, are you screwing the family?
It's how involved the person is with their family.
Exactly. Exactly. And I do think that this question and these questions definitely play out depending on religion and culture too, especially.
100%.
So like for somebody, for example, who is part of a culture or religion where they do arranged marriages,
Mhm.
how many people become emotionally involved at that point? And it's just really interesting, just like wondering how this connection affects other people.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting to think about, especially when you take into consideration it's like a literal merging of family trees,
Yeah,
people are
that's a
now
big thing in
meeting.
marriages. Like,
Yeah,
remember in the early 2000s, all those movies that were it was like like Meet the Parents and stuff.
yeah.
It's like
Or like My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
yeah, it's like it's like this wedding is such a big. It's like oh, it's two people who love each other. It's like oh, but the obstacles is our families getting along, and then it's like I've never as crazy as enough like having long term relationships. My family's never merged a lot. Like our families never really like overlapped. But again, I've never been married or had children, and I think when that happens, it's a little more like, oh, hey, well now there's a grandbaby involved, and so and blah blah blah, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is two families essentially coming together, and now they're merged. If not biologically by children, but like yeah, legally and family tree wise, there's that connection that'll always be there. So
Not just the adults too. You get nieces and nephews, the
oh,
babies
that's
that
been so
grow
hard
up,
for me.
because
That's been very hard.
so it's really interesting. I don't know how, like, it's to me it's interesting how what they're proposing. It's like how many people are affected when two people come together. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, Next scene, we have Carrie and Wallace out on a date,
Hell yeah.
and it's really cute. And she opens the scene up saying how, while I'm still on the fence for my feelings for Vaughn, I had no doubts about my feelings for his mother. I was in
Just for his
love.
mother.
I was in love with her.
Love
And
that.
Wallace is telling Carrie about how when they were in the Peace Corps in Nicaragua, that's where Vaughn was born. Like, these
Love.
people are just so interesting, and Carrie's like fangirling over Wallace's career, but then Wallace is like, girl, don't pull that self-effacing shit with me. I see you. I know what you got going on.
Yeah.
And Carrie's like, oh, what? It's just a column. And she's like, it's a contribution. You're part of a dialogue. If it weren't for
Yeah.
you, we wouldn't know half of what we do about other people's sex lives. I think it's wonderful to be frank and honest about sex. And if we just like pause right there, that is literally the essence of Sex in the City, like captured in that moment. That is what we're doing here. It's not like, yeah, we talk about all the shit that Carrie does specifically, especially like in these upcoming episodes.
Hmm.
Um, but at the end of the day, that's kind of like what we're doing. It's like part of a dialogue. We're normalizing it, and like what we're doing here.
I was about to say, it's like what you and I
Yeah,
are doing now is being completely
having
honest about
conversation.
having the conversations about sex and what revolves around sex and the variables and dynamics that come along with it, and because it's natural. This is something biologically we do as humans,
Yeah.
you know?
And I'll never forget my human sexuality professor. He literally told us the more you learn about something, the less you know. And I truly feel that way with sexuality because I know how I feel about things. And even still, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I learn things
Hmm.
about myself as I continue on this journey and as we continue
Oh,
doing this.
yeah.
And it's like that ever evolving path of discovery. Like, the more you learn, the less you know because you realize like it's so much bigger than you could have ever thought.
Yeah,
And
that's the beautiful thing about knowledge and discussion is like it's ever expanding,
it's like the multiverse. Um, but yes, Wallace says it's wonderful, and she says it's wonderful to be frank and honest about sex, and that's how I raised my kids. She
Yeah,
said, my kids knew the correct terminology from their anatomy from the start. I
good.
feel damn straight, girl.
You need to.
Uh,
You need to.
yes, because not doing that gives bad people room, and we don't want that.
Absolutely. If you don't teach your children consent and boundaries
What
and
things
their
actually are.
anatomy, you
Yeah.
can leave them susceptible to adults who will manipulate them because they're
Yeah.
children.
Because if you
So,
don't give somebody the language to be able to talk about what's happening to them, how are they ever going to know?
exactly.
Are they going to
You're
wake up
taking their
one
voice
day?
away and their knowledge base away for defending themselves.
Yeah, and then they're going to wake up one day when they're like 18 years old and have a random flashback to a moment in their childhood and realize, oh my God,
This
you know,
happened. Yeah.
this happened to me. And it's only because they're at an age at that point where they can actually understand what happened.
What's going on? Yeah,
Yeah.
or what happened.
And that's why I think it's really important to teach your kids about their anatomy. And
incredibly important.
and Wallace claims as a result, she feels that her kids can talk to her about anything. She even says that when her daughter came out as a lesbian, she says, "Great, just as long as you're not a Republican." Oh, I love Wallace.
I would love my children. That's what I would aspire to be if I do have children. I want them to be able to. I want them to be able to like come to me for anything. Like, oh, I fucked. Like, I this happened at school today, but then they also can call me and be like, I'm drunk. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
fuck. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, to have that kind of rapport with them, I strive to be that kind of parent.
Yo también. I feel that. And at the end of the scene, she tells Wallace,
This is the best date Carrie's had in months.
ever. And I'm not gonna lie, it really makes me wonder. I wonder how Wallace and Samantha would have gotten along.
They probably would have had a great discussion.
I bet they would have so many, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards or in the script. Um, okay, next scene, we have Charlotte and Wesley, and they're at a bar and they're waiting for Carrie. And Charlotte asks Leslie if he's spoken to Leslie, and he says no, but I've been talking to her lawyer. Do you want to hear all about that? And he's like, I'm giving her the house, and she's giving me an ulcer. And Carrie arrives and has Samantha with her. And when Charlotte notices, she goes, shit, under her breath. And she introduces her brother to Carrie and Samantha. And Samantha immediately kind of makes eyes at Wesley because, like, Wesley's actually, like, not ugly.
Oh yeah, I told you this a couple weeks ago. I was like, "Hey, you never?" Oh, we were on the phone. I was like, "You know what? I never noticed." You're like, "What?" I was like, "Charlotte's brother's like kind of hot," and you're like, "Wesley?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's a handsome man right there."
That's a wasp. When I saw him in the jorts, I couldn't handle it. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of the jort with the tucked in.
I see that, and I see that I'm gonna have a grill in my backyard.
Oh my god.
I don't give a
401k husband, like, with benefits.
I want a boat. How many times on this fucking podcast have I said I want a boat?
Somebody get her a fucking boat already.
I have to buy my own boat. I'm gonna have to buy my own boat.
Oh my gosh. But oh my god, dude. Okay, so Charlotte pulls Carrie out away, leaving Samantha with her brother, and is like why is she
there you
here? You know? And Carrie's like, "Oh, that our friend Samantha, you remember her, right?"
I think you remember who she is.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, dude? And Charlotte's just, like, upset about the situation and, like, tells Carrie, but she doesn't tell her brother, and she doesn't tell Samantha. She only tells Carrie. Terrible communication, dude. And Wesley walks over and suggests that they go to a jazz club. And, you know, if you notice through the series, Samantha loves jazz clubs. There was even an episode where she took herself on a date to one.
Jazz is inherently sexy also. It's inherently romantic. It's, it's soulful. So for someone with her kind of sensuality and sexuality, it is not a surprise to me that she loves jazz.
No, not at all.
Not a shock.
But Charlotte declines, and Wesley's like, well, we'll just go. And Charlotte expresses to Carrie, like, how upset she is, but no one else. No one else.
Boo-hoo, go cry about it.
Stupid. Anyways, next scene, which I'm assuming was after the date that Miranda and Roger had planned, when we saw them last. But they're in bed together at Roger's place, and it's like the morning after. They're having pillow talk, and then she excuses herself to the restroom, and mind you, she is naked. First of all, you know what? Let me finish this, and then we'll get to the first of all. So she goes to the restroom and is still naked, and in walks the baby. In walks Simon, and he's looking for his dad. And Miranda slams the door shut on him, and we hear Simon yell, "Ow, Daddy!" And
Yeah.
he's scared. He got hurt. And then Miranda opens the bathroom door wearing a towel now, and she finds Roger holding Simon, who has blood on his face. The little freaking the kid has a bloody nose now and is
Yeah.
whimpering. He's like, poor little baby, you know? And Miranda's just like, I'm sorry, I was peeing and I didn't want him to see me. And then she makes a joke about the situation, and Roger just like does not engage. He just like cuts her off almost and is like, he's hurt. I think he might need a stitch. And
Mm-hmm.
Miranda's like, I'll go with you to the emergency room. And Simon yells no and then hugs his father. And Roger just, he's like, can you just go? Go.
Yeah.
Like, leave. He tells Miranda to leave. And Carrie in the monologue, or in the, narration, she's like, one thing about families is that if no one's sorry to see you go, you're probably not going to come back. So Miranda got the
It's
boot,
fair.
you know. But first of all, and I'm going to go back to my first of all, why the fuck are you walking around this man's house naked, knowing full well he has a child?
I just think yeah, it's weird. It is weird. I can see why it would happen because it's like, okay, the kid's probably not going to be up. Let me just go sneak into the bathroom real quick. You know,
I
I understand the logic.
I still don't.
No.
I you know, I'm not saying anything about against naked households. Like, I do think that's a thing within your family,
Yeah.
you know? But that's not her kid. That's not
Yeah.
his mom. There's no reason she should be naked anywhere where that kid can see her, personally.
However, was this, I don't remember in the show, if it was it a bedroom connected to the bathroom and then the kid walked in? Or did she have
The
to walk down the hallway into the bathroom?
the door opens into the hallway.
There's only one connecting door.
They only showed one door from what I remember. You see
Oh,
her on
yeah,
the
you're right.
toilet, and you see the door, which I'm
Because I
assuming
was like,
is
you know how
ours.
many bedrooms have like the bathroom
Oh yeah,
connected to
mine
it?
does that
You
too.
know?
Yeah, where it has the two doors.
Yeah.
And it's fucking awful. I hate it. But
No.
like, but no, like it was in the hallway. She had to walk to that hallway naked and
Yeah.
do that.
She probably
And
was just
then
like, let me shimmy in there, you
no,
know?
for real. And then I don't know. But she also like slammed the door so hard that the kid got a bloody nose. And I feel like it's one thing to put your arm up to make sure that it doesn't, open enough for him to get in, and it's one thing to slam it shut.
It
Uh,
was a reaction. This
I
was a
get
complete and
that.
utter accident.
No, I get that. But also, it's like, it's a lot. I don't know. Anyways,
The kid's fine. He doesn't have a concussion. I think this is me as a nurse because I'm like, dude, it's relax, chill out. Like it's a cut.
but also, the last thing I will say about this is that I feel so bad for Roger here. And I'm saying this not
Yes.
because it's a dude or whatever, but for anybody who is in the position of, I started a family.
Mm-hmm.
I am no longer within that family and I'm having to find a new partner, but I
Right.
already have my kid.
Right.
And I'm doing what I can to be a good parent to this kid, but I also want this level of companionship. I have
Correct.
now brought this person into my home, and that person did something that drew blood from my kid.
We were just talking. I mean, we just said
Yeah,
that. Like, she was like, oh, used goods, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is directly correlating to that. It's like
yeah,
now he's having to start over and it's complicated and it's messy and
you know.
it's hard.
But I just feel really bad for Roger in that moment because, like, I can't imagine, like, again, I don't have kids, but I can't imagine the level of, like, pain that would come with that.
That's a
Knowing
big
that,
reason why I
you know,
am so vigilant with like children. I would love to have kids and I could have at any point in time in my life essentially. But I'm like I don't also just want to do it just to do it because look at the complexities here. I want a family. I don't want a broken one. I want to, and I think about these things now that I'm getting older, and I'm like, oh my God, let's say I do have kids. I'm like, and then what if something happens? I have to get back in the scene, I'm like, with a kid, that's hard. And I see my friends go through that.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult.
Okay,
And
well, that's hard. I feel like it's way harder to grow up in a house where your parents fucking hate each other.
100% also.
You know,
100%
so I
also.
do still feel like you're making the right choice by leaving that person. If you know it's not good, you know it's toxic, get out of there,
Yeah.
dude. But yeah, no, I just feel so bad for Roger in this moment because I feel like it takes a lot to, go through all of these things, open yourself back up to this, and then to have
Mm-hmm.
an accident. Like, I know it's an accident, but this is the result of that accident, and to see that unfold and watch your kid look at the person you brought into your home like that and to feel like that, that's gotta be a really shitty feeling.
Yeah.
It just sucks for everyone involved. Like, there's
Yeah.
no winner in that scenario. And speaking of, right, next scene, we have Charlotte and, okay, we have Samantha and we have Wesley. And this is where Samantha gets stung by a wasp. So the way it unfolds is we have Charlotte at her apartment. She wakes up and she goes into her kitchen because she hears something. And what does she find? She finds a Samantha who is wearing her brother's t-shirt and nothing else, who is on a chair in her kitchen looking for her coffee filters. And she's just like, you know, Samantha's just at her friend's house. Where are your coffee filters? I can't find
Yeah.
them. She's just like, hi. And Charlotte's
Hey, good
like,
morning.
yeah. And then Charlotte's like, my brother, you slept with my brother. And it's just like, Samantha's just like, oh, what a doll. He was so sweet. And then Charlotte cuts her off and she's like, is your vagina in the New York City guidebooks? Because it should be. It's always open and it's the hottest spot in town.
So rude. It's diabolical.
Wait,
Diabolical. Why at that point, why are you friends if you feel that way about
that's
your
what
friend?
I'm saying. And Samantha deserved better. And Wesley comes out of the room in his jorts, and I'm sorry, and he comes out and he sees Samantha upset. He's like, what's going on? And Samantha just like slams the thing that was in her hand on the counter, and she takes off. And like, Charlotte explains herself to Wesley, who's demanding to know, why did you insert yourself in my business?
Mm-hmm.
Before chasing after Samantha. Charlotte doesn't go after Samantha. She goes after her brother. I never liked that. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, Samantha got stung by a wasp. And next scene, we have Carrie in bed with Vaughn. And
Again.
Carrie, yeah, again. And they're at Carrie's apartment, and Carrie's talking about his mother. And she's like, I didn't know your mom was nominated for an Oscar. And he's like, yeah, she won it for the best, or she was gonna win it for the best documentary short, but I don't really feel like talking about my mother. In fact, I don't feel like talking at all. And so he starts initiating sex, and
Mm-hmm.
they start to kind of get even just a little bit heated. And Carrie's hand starts to lower towards his, dick.
Crotch.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I mean, just
Period.
call it what it
Period.
is, right?
Period,
Um,
girl. Let's go. It's Valentine's Day.
and he comes immediately.
All right. Well,
Immediately. And
we
she
have
just like,
recognized a pattern now.
and she hands him some tissues while he cleans himself up, she asks what the documentary was even about.
Just to go back and be like, I know you didn't want to talk about your mom, but we can finish this
But
conversation
we're
now.
done. So let's just, I don't
You
know.
see, you know what's weird about this is like biologically, okay, he came. Yeah, men have a what's it called? Refractory period. It's longer than women to be able to orgasm again. But I've been with plenty of men who can come and come again and come again and come again. So it's kind of like what he can't go at it again. Like he's a one and done guy. Once a day, he's done. We can't revisit it.
He also could like make her come.
Oh, 100%.
He has a mouth, he has hands, he has other things to, you know, I don't understand why that just means that it's just done. It's just done. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah,
But, to each their own, right? But
sure.
yeah, the amount of time for him to initiate sex, to cut off the conversation, having nutted, and then is cleaning himself up was not even enough time to forget what they were talking about, which is
Oh, I
also
thought you actually timed it. You're about to give me the seconds. I was like, oh
no,
shit.
no.
We should have done that.
We should have, but it was probably literally like 14 seconds. It was not long.
Not even. I don't even think it was that
I don't
long.
even think it was that long either. um. Uh. Okay. Next scene, we have Charlotte and Wesley after the
We go
fight.
back.
We go
Yeah.
back to them, and at this point in time, this is when you know, he comes back from having talked to Samantha about what happened. And he literally, as he's walking in, he's like, if you try to hand me a muffin, I'm leaving.
I'm gonna scream.
You know? Like, fuck you, muffin. And okay, this is another point in time where I usually love Charlotte. I fucking hate her right
Mhm.
here. I think this is so ugly. I don't even want to say it out
Yeah.
loud, but for the sake of the podcast, we'll say what
Yeah,
she
I could
said.
say it.
You say it. I don't even.
Yeah, she says, you don't know Samantha. She has so many notches on her bedpost, it's practically whittled down to a toothpick. That's what she says about her own friend.
That is so ugly. And it's like, are you actually friends with this person because you like them, or are you friends with them because it's convenient for you? Because you already have your
Exactly.
little group, it's already established. And
We've had them bicker about this stuff before.
that's one thing, but to be, and it's like, I wonder how often she has talked about Samantha like this. You know?
Yeah.
I,
We have an episode that will eventually come up, though, where they kind of role reverse. And I think after that, it's
it,
not as much
oh,
as an issue.
yeah,
So we'll get there. Charlotte has some evolving to do.
she does.
And that's just a human in general. So remember, we are on season 2.
Out of 6.
But right now, this is not nice at all.
No.
This is terrible. This is a
And I,
terrible way to speak about your friend and
it
treat your
is.
friend.
And I hate that I love the way she looks here. This is my favorite for Charlotte in the entire series. She has
Yeah.
on a silk dark like winter green dress with her hair at like that like perfect medium length. That's
Mm-hmm.
like how I imagined Charlotte. It was that medium chocolate
Oh,
brown
yeah.
hair with the like 90s like volume and just
Mm-hmm.
very like romantic makeup.
Yeah.
She looks so good here. But yeah, no, so he tells her, Wesley's like, but it was fun. And Charlotte's like, well, now that you've had your fun, you can go back to your wife. And he's like, do you think you know us? Let me tell you about us. She's frigid. And I haven't had sex in 2 years.
Oh,
I have.
that's a long fucking. I would also get a divorce.
We had Miranda nearly eating her own hand after like
A
3
couple
months.
weeks,
No, it
or
was
was it
3
3
months.
months?
Yeah.
That's a long time too.
And since I became active, I don't know if I've ever gone that long without it, and I don't
I
want
think my
to.
longest time was 9 months in a relationship. was 9 months.
Yeah.
And that was a huge detriment. And like, I mean, obviously there was other stuff going on, but like that was a big reason also. And then because my thing is, if you're not sexually attracted to and or actively like sexual with your partner, at that point we're friends. Like what, that's a friendship, because that's
like
what
that's what we do, right?
that's what you
You
don't
know?
see us scissoring every Saturday. Bitch.
Just, I'm just
that's
kidding.
that's a
Um,
surprise. We're also starting an OnlyFans.
You know, we got bills to pay.
Oh,
This economy ain't it, honey. So,
the each other's soulmate OnlyFans
see, we already got branding. Um,
that I made.
there you go.
Woo! That'd be so funny. I'm sure. I feel like I'm like, leave it in the comments. Would you?
I can't.
Who would purchase our OnlyFans?
Girl, put that
I
away.
can't even. I can't even say it out loud.
I can't. Oh my god. Okay. But no, he's like, I was going out of my mind. I've seen a pastor, I've seen a shrink, but until I saw Samantha, I didn't realize what I needed. Sex. That was
Hell
it.
yeah.
That was it. And she's like, so it was a good thing? He's like, it was a freaking great thing. That's Samantha. You've got a really good friend there. I love that line.
I just love that Samantha is able to open up people in that aspect too.
Yeah.
Because sex is very powerful, it's very spiritual, it's very emotional, it can be very passionate. Like and when you do it from not a level of like being scared or judgment, when you're doing it like because you're like, this is great, this feels great, I trust this person, it can be very healing.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of healing, we have our next scene, which is one of my favorites ever with these ladies. Charlotte takes a basket of Nana's muffins to Samantha.
Nana's muffins.
And she knocks on the front door. And, okay, two things, right? First of all, Samantha opens the door. Immediately out of her mouth is, that was a terrible thing that I said.
Yeah.
Not only does she say it, she maintains eye contact while saying it. She's like, I mean this when I say it. That was a terrible thing that I said.
Yeah.
And Samantha, she's like, yes, it was. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have another tour group coming through my vagina in 10 minutes.
It's like one of my most favorite things she's ever said.
Seriously, that's some shit I would say. And Charlotte's like, and I'm so sorry. And Sam's like, you said what you came to say.
Yeah.
And Charlotte's like, wait. She gives her the basket of muffins. She's like, here. And Samantha, she was touched. She knew that this was Charlotte's way of saying thank you for fucking my brother.
Pretty much.
And I love this scene because I love seeing their relationship outside of Carrie.
I too, and I feel like we've said this before, I absolutely love when Carrie's not in the scenes.
No, seriously, and like, Carrie,
and you get to see their other,
but yeah, being able to see the dynamics without her there, I feel like really kind of makes them come to life a little bit more. It's not just like Carrie.
well, because they're so much more complex than Carrie's character.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy their sides so much more.
Exactly. And also, I don't know if before and after the scene, if we've ever seen people apologize to each other like that on the show.
I don't think so.
I don't think that ever happens again. Well, Miranda goes back to her gym, and she's there during kids' hour again. I keep going at that time. Switch your gym, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. It might be the only time she can go, but like, yeah, go to a different gym then.
Yeah. And there's another lady in the elevator. She's like, my kid likes to press the button. And, my kid likes to press the button. And she's just like, so do I. And so she presses the button. And I love that for her because, like, I really hate this whole culture of assuming that like even strangers need to like accommodate your kid. Like the thing that I've been
Yeah.
seeing most recently as like the hot topic issue in this is airplane seats. You know?
Oh yeah, I've been seeing that
Yeah.
on TikTok.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, like my kid really wants to sit by the window.
Yeah.
So, you gonna move? Like it's
Well,
basically this like unspoken like thing of like it's for the child, so you have to.
no, buy a window seat.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's it goes back to what I was saying earlier about
Yeah.
how like when you when you do things like that for your kid, you set unrealistic expectation for how the world works for that
Yep.
kid. You're literally setting them up to fail.
Yep.
Like you're not raising a baby, you're raising a future member of society who is gonna be an adult one day having to make decisions and having to figure out how all of this shit works. And the best thing you can do for them is to give them realistic expectations for how it does work.
100%.
But then again, I'm speaking as somebody who has never had kids, only cared for them,
Yeah.
But anyways, next scene, we have Carrie in bed with Vaughn's book. And
She
okay,
learned her lesson.
just like honestly, this is a really cool moment. So she is in bed with his book. Can you imagine how like sexy that actually is? Like seeing the person you're dating reading your book in bed in their underwear. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, as someone who is I guess a performer, anytime your partner is like supporting that or like encouraging that, it is very hot. It's very
That
sexy to
is
feel
sexy.
supported.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like every time I put on my boyfriend's merch, I'm just like,
Yeah.
hey,
I feel
it's
that.
that, or whatever, you
No,
know?
for real. It's that like and it goes both ways, when your partner is supporting you and what you do and also being sexy, like it's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I have never felt so supportive, like creatively
Exactly.
before. And it's very nice having someone to do that for you and
Hell
to
yeah. Hell yeah.
encourage you to do it more also, not just like, oh yeah, it's cool, whatever, but like someone who's truly supportive and someone who also now like understands also the same kind of pressures and the same kind of
Yeah.
things that comes with performing is nice also.
That
So
is awesome. I'm really
yeah.
happy for y'all. I yeah, no, I've never dated another well, how do I put that? You know what, let's just skip over that comment. I was, anyways. Um, okay. So Vaughn is into the fact that she is reading his book.
Mm-hmm.
And so he begins to initiate sex again. And Carrie pulls away from the initiation and she's like, let's just take this nice and slow. And if you're feeling too excited, let's take a break. Why is this the best communication she has ever shown in this fucking show?
Because she hasn't had sex with him yet.
Because she wants the dick? Like, that's the
Yes.
only reason? Because I've
Yes.
never seen her go that slow with anyone else. Like, if this was Mr. Big, she would have shown up wasted and been like, what the fuck? You
It's
know?
because it's still an allure.
Ugh. But, yeah, she tries to address it head on, and she's even sensitive about it? And he looks at her and he's like, why? With this, like, stupid motherfucking look on his face. You know the one.
Yeah.
And Carrie's like, well, because I think we both want this to work. And she tries to address the problem like head on, and he's just like, forget it. And she's like, but we do need to talk about this. And he's like, I don't want to. She's like, I think we have to.
Yeah.
And this is honestly like A+ communication from her. I've never seen this from her before. And Vaughn is just like, why does everything have to be about sex? I'm so tired of talking about it. I've been talking about it since I was 2. And he cuts off the conversation anyways. He's like, my family's waiting on us anyways. Let's just go. And
Ew.
well, yeah. But I do kind of wonder if there was some sort of like intention with commentary on that being too early to teach your kids about stuff like that. I wonder if Vaughn was like a cautionary kind of tale in that
Probably
regard.
because there's more research on it now, and they're like, okay, these are the steps you should be taking
Yeah.
to like what's normal, like sexual talk, what's normal, like,
Yeah.
behaviors for them, things like that. I feel like it's studied more
Yeah.
now. But I mean, she says it like, Wallace says back like, well, they were very aware of like their anatomy. So like that probably happened at a young age, because kids can start talking pretty quick nowadays, and
Yeah.
so, or back at anytime, kids are smart. They're
Yeah.
smart, and this, as much as you teach them, the more they pick up. So she probably just was like, as soon as they were walking and talking, made them very knowledgeable, I think, in all aspects. They seem like very cultured kids,
Yeah.
and that's just probably what it is. Also, I just think it's a sensitive spot for him, no pun intended, but like he probably is fucking tired of like going through this same thing over and over and over and over again. But like, how annoying is it to like, I would be like say something, like sex is important to the majority of people, you
Yeah.
know it's like, so I would say like, hey, this is a recurring problem for me. I'm also not big on having sex, or like saying something like, too, like, if you don't want to have sex or it's not a big deal for you, say that.
Yeah.
Nip it in the bud.
Yeah. But he ain't gonna do that.
No.
He's gonna make it as difficult as he can up until the end. And speaking of, next scene, we are at Vaughn's family's townhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the conversation is so nice. They're all hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
So something I noticed about them, they don't sit at a table. They sit in a living room and all have the plates on their laps.
Yeah,
And
they're
the
having
dinner
like
setup is like,
conversation.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
extremely casual and it's
Right.
extremely friendly and just
Right.
open and
Right.
informal,
Right.
very relaxed. And Vaughn starts acting like a fucking dick. And he starts aggressively demanding to know where the scallion cream cheese is. And his mother literally, she's trying to de-escalate, and
Mm-hmm.
she's like, it's out there. And he continues to get worse, and this
Yeah.
grown-ass man is having a tantrum. And his dad asks Carrie, why is he so edgy? She's like, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
even though she does know.
Yeah.
And his sisters, they call him out to Carrie, and they literally tell Carrie, don't let him pull this shit with you. Ever since he got published, he acts like some kind of tortured artist.
Could be an ego issue.
That's what I'm hearing. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I am hearing, because I've definitely met those people.
Oh
And
yeah.
when dating around, like sudden, like, I'm an artist, so suddenly you're like God's gift to the fucking world and everything you say is fucking gold, when in reality it's like
Ugh.
spewing shit. And I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but
I am.
you know but I just I get where they're coming from, because it's like he thinks that because this dude obviously comes from a happy home and had a good life growing up. I'm not gonna say that there probably weren't challenges and stuff, but definitely not as much as other people. And it just
Why is it every fucking nice family, you date their fucking son, they have the most supportive, like, loving family? Like, this has happened to me in my past so much. And I'm like, why do you act the way you do? I didn't
because
have this warm, loving upbringing all the time. Like, what the fuck?
because trauma makes people interesting, and if they don't have the trauma, they're gonna make it themselves.
That's fucking terrible. With trauma comes not good things.
Yeah.
Except a sense
And
of
it's
humor.
probably not always that, but,
No, it's not.
that's kind of what
But
it seems like they're saying in this, scenario,
yeah.
because they're like, because he got published, he's a writer. You know how, like, some people think that the only time they're, like, like, the only time that they're good at, like, making stuff is when they're, like, angry or upset. They have these kinds of emotions versus, like, other kinds of emotions,
Which I totally
you
understand
know?
as writing jokes.
Yeah.
All of my stuff is about self-deprecation and about terrible things that have happened to me. I completely understand that, but there's also a point where you can dip in and be like, I also have to ground myself and realize like you can pull from other places, you
Yeah.
know.
But I feel
But I
like
get it. But pain is such a good motivator, and
it is.
I get it. I get it. You know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's just throwing a big old man tantrum, and he returns from the other room with the cream cheese, the scallion cream cheese he finally fucking found,
It sounds
and
so good.
it does. Um, and he comes in, he's like, he tells his parents, "What's the point of buying all this shit if you can't remember the one thing that's supposed to hold it together? Fuck you."
Ugh. Yeah, fuck off.
Ew. And, Wallace tries again. His mom literally tries again to get him to talk about what's bothering him. And you know what he tells her? He's like, "Well, if you have to have everything out on the fucking table, how about we start with some scallion cream cheese?" And he slams it on the table. This fucking man child. And Carrie just like, she looks around the room and she just gets up and she excuses herself politely, quickly,
Yeah.
but politely.
Yeah.
And she begins to leave. And Vaughn just like, he sees her get up and sees her
Yeah.
begin to leave. But when she walks by him, he looks down and away. He
What a
does not
fucking
even,
pussy.
literally,
What a
literally,
pussy.
literally.
Like
And it's his mother who chases Carrie out the door.
I've been there. Been
She
there.
she comes, she tries her best. She's like trying everything she can to convince Carrie to stay. She even goes as far as to say, "Do you want me to talk to him for you?"
Been there.
I can't even imagine.
I've
Oh
been
my
there
god,
multiple times.
girl.
This is not just one person.
Oh my god.
Moms
Oh,
love me, but I think it's because I have like a wounded thing. I look like a baby bird to them with like a wounded wing because I don't have a relationship with my mother, and I think they sense that, and they're like, let me give this little baby bird and put them under my
oh,
wing. And I think they
oh.
see that. Or I'm just a great partner.
You're also, I don't know. I think that's true. You're very good with like families. Like,
Yeah. But I think it's like I've always wanted that like dynamic and that kind of like unit so much
yeah.
and so greatly that I think I just like that's a priority I want in my life, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I work hard for that. I always love this whole narrative now with what are the kids saying? They're like someone's son, like when they're referring to men. I'm like obsessed, and they're always like, oh yeah, well not with someone's son. Like, and it can either be in a positive light or like a negative light.
I think I
And
have
I'm
heard
like,
that. That's funny.
yeah, it's not the man. This is someone's son.
Honestly though. But
Oh,
no, Wallace knows what's going on. And she
yeah.
even says that she found out with his last girlfriend because she wasn't so discreet.
I feel like that would be me if I
So,
had like if I was like 3 glasses of wine in. You bet your ass. I have to be careful on holidays with me and wine because you know me. I it's truth serum. Me and alcohol,
oh,
it's
you
truth
literally
serum.
are truth serum. What the fuck? You don't need alcohol to make it more.
Yes, I do because
I don't. No, I
I
don't feel
hold
like
a
it's a
lot.
truth thing. I feel like it's an emotion thing. That's what comes out with the
Oh
alcohol.
yeah,
Your
everything.
emotional truths come out. Yeah. No, literally. I remember one time I was crying and you're like, you cry a lot. And I was like, this is why I'm a happy drunk.
Period.
So get
Period.
it
Go
out
off,
when I'm
queen.
sober.
Humble brag.
You
Humble
know?
brag.
But no, oh my god, but okay, can we get like she literally the mom drags her son. She's like, I don't even want to get into the irony that he writes short stories.
Moment of silence.
Dead. Dead upon arrival.
It is
DNR.
refresh. What is very refreshing though is when mothers can empathize and because there's also the opposite of mothers
Boy
who are
mom.
so yeah, and that's hard to I've dealt with it kind of once, not as bad as other people have, but like the other side is where like my son can do no wrong, he's an angel, he's perfect. I haven't had that. They're like, I know my son is being a fucking shit right now, and it's refreshing to have that kind of like
Because
realization.
I dated a guy with a boy mom before where he
Ugh.
couldn't do anything wrong. It was always someone else's fault. Like it just
Ugh.
not fun.
It's crazy.
But we love somebody who keeps their kid accountable. I literally saw a video
100%.
the other day where this mom like was having a lunch or something with her kid and was like, the cops are outside. You're gonna have this one last good meal and then you're going to jail.
He was abusing his girlfriend.
He
physically.
was physically abusing his girlfriend, and so the mom did. And
she's like, we're having one last lunch. You're not doing this.
Out.
No son of mine is going to do this unscathed. And I would do the same shit.
No, exactly.
I would do the same shit.
Yes. And,
first, I'm beating your ass. I'm going to stab you with the knife from the kitchen. And then I'm calling the cops.
Why you got to beat their asses young so you don't have to beat their asses when they're big?
Then what's what I've been telling you? What have I been fucking saying this whole time?
God
listens to me.
Oh my god. But okay, so yeah, no, Carrie realizes in this conversation with Wallace, she's like, the breakup with Vaughn was easy. This is the hard breakup. She's I have to break up with his mom.
Yeah, that's hard.
I think she could have kept it. I think she could have kept the friendship. I think she was cool enough. I think
so too.
You know,
I think so too.
That's how the cookie crumbled. So it is what it is. But Wallace, she tries one last time. She's like, and what happens when you meet somebody else? They won't have a mother like me, and you know that. And we have
the dagger.
And Carrie just promises to keep in touch, and Wallace she lets go.
The dagger. That's been hard for me. I've had one relationship like that. Well, we still keep in touch, which is nice. But with social media, that helps. But and just families in general too. It's hard. It's hard letting go of that. And I'm just like, I was like, what do you mean? I would have won the mother-in-law lottery, but yeah, and I just think it's nice, like I said, it was like having support in trying times also. I think that's kind of bonds you together. But sometimes this happens. I've been through it. I feel for Carrie. I feel for Wallace.
Poor lady.
But Wallace is such a fucking cool name for a girl.
It really is, and I might steal it.
Because I want this. I want the name. Someone better not steal this shit. I want the name Winston for a girl. Winston is a cool name for a girl because then you just call her Winnie. But her real name's Winston. I love it. I think it's cool. I like that.
I like that too.
Winnie.
We end this episode really nicely and sweetly. We have Carrie. She's like, Wallace was right. The most important thing in your life is your family. And there are days you love them, and there are days you don't. But in the end, they are the people that you come home to. And sometimes it is the family that you are born into, and sometimes it is the one that you make for yourself.
Absolutely.
So I consider you my sister. When we are at like a place and like, whatever, somebody's like, who is that? Whatever. I'm like, that's my sister. Like,
especially like medically, if medically we're always like, that's my sister, because they're always like, oh, we only release information to families. So we're always just like, that's my sister.
No,
And then
seriously. And like, yeah, it really is like, sometimes you do hit the lottery and it is the people and the family that you're born into. And then sometimes it's the people that you find and the
yeah.
families that you make for your
I've been saying that my whole life, but I've also been in a position where I've come from like a blended family and like people, like a lot of people come in and, have supported me when I felt abandoned or whatever. And then I've become selective as I've gotten older with people in my life too. And I feel like I have a strong few unit that I consider family, and I couldn't have had it any other way because I just it's also exhausting. I feel like like a lot of people. There's a lot of people to keep up with. It's a lot. Families can be, and I come from sides with they're both large families, but like it's a lot. But to have your like inner core circle, like your people who you're like, this is my ride or die, this is my family, this is who I picked, this is who I chose to stay, blood or not, so yeah. It's good. I'm thankful for you too. I'm really happy. It's been almost has it been 15 years yet? It's already there, right? We were 14. It's this year.
Yeah, this year's 15.
It'll be this year in like what, September,
Oh
October,
my God.
around there.
We need to throw our friendship at 15.
Can we wear dresses?
Yeah.
I want the big poofy dress. I never had a quinceañera. My dad gave me the option. He said, "You're going to Europe or you're having a quinceañera." And I said, "Fuck that party."
Oh my God. Well, you know what?
I'll become a woman later, and I did.
Well,
You
you
know what
know
I
what?
mean?
This is your year, man. You're gonna
This
get
is
your
my year.
quinceañera
This
this
is
year.
my redo quinceañera year.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it'll be
Yeah.
this year because we were 14 when we met. Yeah, it must have been around. It had to have been around. It was like early freshman year. It wasn't like late freshman. It was probably like September, October, maybe
probably.
around there after school started. Wow. This is the year. This is the year.
Fine.
That is wild. Yeah, but we've had a friendship for this long. The only other friend I've had with a longer friendship is my friend from elementary school too, and that's crazy also, but like and I rarely get to see her because of the military, but like it's nice having that. And it's very rare nowadays that you see friendships that last that long, and I'm so grateful just to like not only have one but to have two.
Yeah.
And it's very nice, and it's like it's also nice having that like unshakable thing, right? It's like I said, it's not like friends, it's like family.
Yeah.
And it's like this kind of unshakable bond. And I'm like, for me, I'm very, with like as a Leo, I'm very selective, but the people in my cubs are like my cubs, and I will fight to the death and tooth and nail for you. So once I have that, once you're in, it's like in Meet the Parents when he's like, this is my circle of trust. And you are here. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. You know what's so funny? I'm so mad. I was on another podcast and he asked me what my top 4 favorite movies are. And I was like, oh, I couldn't. And I love movies so much. And I just said 2 today. What it was: Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, Meet the Parents, Little Miss Sunshine, always number 1. But yeah, there's 3. I could think of all but one.
Daydream Nation.
That's not one of my favorites. I love it. I love that movie, but it's as far as Charlie's Angels isn't one of my favorite movies. But like as far as cinema goes, but it's like those movies. But I think Meet the Parents, I think, is definitely up there. Just it's hilarious.
It's so fucking good. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it's the whole circle of trust thing. Like and that's like a kind of like what the whole podcast is about. Is like we're 2 friends, like also just beyond friends, we call each other's soulmate, like ironically because of the show and just in life in general too. And it's kind of panned out that way. And yeah, I think this is why this dynamic works so well, and the fact that it's now going to be 15 years is crazy.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that. I got water. Cheers.
Me too. Trying to be a hydrated bitch.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so we have the end of this episode.
Mhm.
Oh, this actually, so the ending of this, my dog just walked in. Hi.
Chizzy.
Yeah, no, this episode ending is actually one of the iconic scenes of the show. Like this gray dress that she has on is one of her most famous outfits from the entire series.
Is this the gray
Yes.
dress with
Yeah.
the kitten heel?
Yes.
Oh god,
Yeah.
yeah. This is one
Yeah.
of the most iconic. If you Google Carrie Bradshaw,
This is
you'll get
probably one of the
this is
videos
probably
you'll
the
see.
picture popping up. It's this beautiful. Oh, it's not even. It's very simple, but it's like a
Yeah.
sleeveless gray. I have dresses very similar to
I
that
want to
actually.
say, wasn't it like kind of like a tulipy bottom a little bit?
A little bit,
Not
a
too
little
much, but
bit,
like a little bit.
and then she's wearing. Is she wearing glasses?
Yeah, she
I
has
can't
like
remember.
shades on
She's got
and
shades on.
like I think like aviators. And
Yeah,
she's got her
yes.
big blonde hair at the time. She
And
looks
these
great.
like perfect little like heels that just match with it
Yeah,
perfectly.
amazing.
Love that outfit. Yeah, so I guess
Yeah,
3 of them had very iconic kind of
yeah.
outfits this
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 episode, yeah.
episode.
And then she runs into her friends. Like she's walking home and she sees them in the cafe. And she like as she's walking home and she's like, "Oh my god!" And they're like, "Come on!"
How ironic and
I
perfect to end the
know,
episode, you
but
know.
they always have brunch at the same cafe, so she's probably just walking by and saw them because she was
Yeah.
supposed to be at lunch with his family
Oh yeah, so
with
she's
the
probably like,
family.
"Oh, hey girls, I'll be there next
I'll be
weekend,"
there,
you know,
yeah.
kind of thing.
So, but yeah, so that's
Yeah.
how we end this episode.
That is season 2, episode 15, Shortcomings.
Yeah. Very, very good episode. Very iconic episode in the series. I feel
Yeah.
like a little bit underrated, TBH.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot. There's a lot in this one, but y'all
great.
get ready for the next couple episodes because we're about to
Yeah.
go through a roller coaster
Love,
of
love.
love. Because my goodness, but God, I am so happy we did this. I'm glad we've
I
fixed out
know. I feel
some kinks.
like I'm stretching muscles that needed to be stretched.
Yes, I was like, we might be a little rusty. That's all right. We're gonna get back into the groove of things.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm so happy we're back. I really hope you guys enjoy this episode, and you know, thank you again for continually supporting us through the break that we had to. We've gained followers. We're now over 50. We have over 50 followers or subscribers on our YouTube.
Yeah,
Which makes
thanks,
it, I checked
guys.
yesterday, we have 51
Thanks,
up.
guys.
Thank you so much. It means everything. Thank you for just continually supporting. It's great. It's great. But yeah, so we're back. We're back, bitches. We're back. We're
We
back,
are.
bitches and broads.
We are
But
back.
yeah, so we'll see you guys every 2 weeks
Mhm.
now for the most part. So we'll get a groove. We'll see what works. We'll see what doesn't work. That's the plan for now. We're also thinking about switching up posting days. I know we were wavering and trying to do Tuesdays. I know that kind of changed. The goal now is for Thursdays. The goal is for every 2 Thursdays to post. Even though I'm going to try and post this on Valentine's Day. We are filming on Valentine's Day. Don't know if it's going to happen. I might post it the next day. So regardless, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
We might be posting on a Saturday, it might be a Friday, but the next one should be on Thursday. So, but we'll work it out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, for the support, for everything. We are very blessed and happy to be back. We are back. We are back, bitches. But yeah, so thank you guys so much. We will see you very, very soon.
Hell
and
yeah.
If you have any suggestions or comments or anything, like always, let us know.
Let us know.
So until then, bye guys. Thank you so much.
The heart.
Oh yeah, we can do our
hearts.
I can't even, my double jointed fingers can't even do all this shit. There you go. Whatever. Much love, bitches.
Much love, bitches.
Fucker out. It's from Meet the Fuckers. Bye, guys.
Bye.